is headquarters, right? Did anything change today? Still in Wheeling, but the vast majority of people who work for Severstal do not work in Wheeling proper. Okay? Now, we had talked the other day when we were talking about transportation, about how important Wheeling's relative location, and I mentioned the nails. Just take a look at 1882, before the nail strike. And I might mention that a little bit later. We're producing in that year 424,000 kegs of cut nails. And if you're familiar with what's going on in Wheeling, the last nail company in Wheeling has closed or will close at the end of this year or this month or what have you. But you will notice also a big change, and that's in the third sentence. In 1875, 81% of the iron produced, the metal produced in the United States is iron. 11 years later, 84% is steel. And one of the differences, and the company that's going to be hurt by that, are nail manufacturers. Because we found out that it was a lot cheaper to make nails that were made out of steel and round than cut nail. And if you buy any nails today, you're likely to buy nails that are made in China.
Approximately how many nails would be in
You know, I could make up something and try to impress you. I don't have the slightest idea. A lot. And as my students would write, that's one word. Yeah. A lot. But see, that's the advantage. You know, that little product can revolutionize the development of this town. That's why we become a workshop for the world in this regard. Take a look at David McCullough's Passage Between the Seas. You know what that book's about? It's about the Panama Canal. And anybody been on a cruise through the Panama Canal? Okay. Did you ever notice those big gears that are down there that open and close those locks? They were made in Wheeling, West Virginia. Special order. Because we had the capability in the beginning of the 20th century for making that kind of steel product. So you run ahead, maybe 75 years, and we use steel in the Heritage Center, or Heritage Port, and it comes from Luxembourg. Okay? I saw somebody running a political ad which I thought was kind of interesting. I support the new fence that was being built between the United States and Mexico, and to make sure that it was made from American steel, not Chinese. Okay, that kind of sums up the places where we're going. Now, if this is the premier city, then should it be the largest city? And it is. It's the largest city in West Virginia through 1910. In fact, I just double-checked that by taking a look at the census of 1910. Charleston, for example, in 1910, we had 41,641 people. Charleston only had 23,000 people. Huntington had 35,000 people. So we're clearly, and the thing that I just learned by looking at that document not very long ago, you will notice in that census year, Wheeling's rate of increase was only 7.11%. That was the smallest of any of the large cities in West Virginia. So we're always of the belief that Wheeling's slowdown occurred after the Great Depression. What I think a real close study of the economics of this area would tell is it actually started to slow down before World War I. Okay? And one of the disadvantages that Wheeling will have in relationship to Charleston is that in 1885, Charleston becomes the capital of West Virginia. And it stayed the capital of West Virginia. Remember, prior to 1885, Wheeling was the capital not once, but twice. 63 to about 76 or so, no, 70 or so, and then from 76 to 85.
It wasn't Charleston,
And then Charleston will become, they asked people in the state to vote on various cities to be the capital. Wheeling was not one of them. Martinsburg was one, Charleston was one. Those are the two that come to my mind. Charleston wins. And Charleston is more centrally located. You know, we think of Charleston as being at the southern end of the state, but it's within, there's another 100 miles south of Charleston before you get to Virginia. Okay? And actually, Charleston is farther west than Wheeling. Okay? Remember, when you go to Charleston, you're going south and southwest. Okay? So, here are the populations, and we continue to go up through all of this period. And the reason we do so is that we have jobs. We're the workshop of this economy. Now, the other thing that I looked at, here it is. The 1910 census, which we have upstairs, I looked in the manufacturing sections. And in that year, Wheeling had 8,744 jobs in manufacturing. Okay. Now, I don't know if that sounds like a lot, considering that 15 years later or so, we've got 14,833. But here's the point that I want to make. In that same year, when Wheeling had 8,744 industrial jobs, Parkersburg had 1,766. Charleston had 1,153. And Huntington had 3,489. So if you combine those three cities, they still only have 6,408 manufacturing jobs, which, to round it off, is 2,336 fewer than Wheeling has by itself. At the turn of the 20th century, almost 1/3 of all of the manufacturing in West Virginia is in Wheeling. I tried to prove that point a couple of years ago when I was talking to some people in the Eastern Panhandle. And one of the ways that I brought it to their attention is that I had this document with me that runs approximately 11 pages. And what I'm going to do is just hand out pages at random, because what these are, listed single space, are all of the things that have ever been made in Wheeling. Now, everything on these pages, what's on this page is not on that page. What's on this page is not on this page. This is a separate page. These are 11 separate, single-spaced things that we've made at Wheeling. Just for example, in the S's, salt pans, sanitary ware, sarsaparilla, sashes, sauce bowls, sausages, sawmills, scales, scraper plates, screw tops, seals, sewing silk. Okay. These are things made in Wheeling. We made everything.